we go to the government, because I think a lot of municipalities abuse the money what they get, and so I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore, because we in a mess. Even if you go to the police station, I was today by a police station, and the docket is by the court. So the lady was making a case against someone, and what happened is that the investigator didn't even come to her, and it's almost now 3 months. So I don't know where even if we vote the ANC out, even we vote the EFF in, even we vote the DA out of, vote the EFF, all the parties is the same. So I think the problem lay by us as people who must make a right decision to say this is law, in law it. So yeah, Mr. Dan, I'm listening further.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ronke.
Thank you.
Kama, you can unmute your microphone.
Hi, Bradini. Thank you for accepting my request once again. I just want to, I do understand that this is an emotional topic for everybody, because we're not just, talking about this. This ESCOM issue is not functioning in isolation, and it's accompanied by other state failures at different levels. And like I always say, the media has a very important role, a critical role in any social agenda of any country in the world. So I think the perceptions or the views that are being shared here on this platform are possibly partly influenced by the media, and the media also influences public perception in part, in a way that who becomes the face of this thing? Who must people blame for this thing? So the media, through its narratives and whatever it is that they are running, they usually push a particular agenda so that the public can make up their minds as to who is responsible for this or who must be blamed for this, because the public want answers. And unfortunately, the answers are not forthcoming from the people that are responsible from these entities. So the journalists, they now push a narrative as to the public now must make up their own minds as to who is now responsible for this. That's why we are hearing it's Direta, we are hearing it's Cyril Ramaphosa, we are hearing it's Zuma, we are hearing all sorts of things. They are trying to pinpoint the one we need a face for this thing. But earlier, Robert said that we mustn't complain and we mustn't blame the West for everything. I think what he meant there is that we mustn't absolve ourselves from this problem of ESCOM. I think that's possibly what he meant. Maybe he didn't mean that we must completely absolve the West. But at the same time, I think he meant that we must also look within as to how is South Africa also contributing to this thing. Because we're a sovereign state, we have a whole state, a government that is being democratically elected in South Africa since 1994. That is the will of the people, apparently. So, this is a confluence of issues. But I want to start with number one, is that the management, guys, of the state is beyond deplorable. The other day, I think it was 2 weeks ago or sometime last week, I went to the post office to go renew my card disc. And I think there were like maybe 6-7 people before me. And as I was standing in the queue, I think it was 11:45. The people said there that there's going to be load shedding at 12 o'clock. In 15 minutes, there's going to be load shedding. Do you know that there was 15 minutes left and they closed the window? They said, no, there's going to be load shedding, so we will no longer be serving people. Mind you, there's only one person working. There are 3 others who are doing absolutely nothing. Every time I think South Africans have to interact with the state, it's always an anxious endeavor or an anxious experience, because you know that you are going to be inconvenienced in one way or the other. If you go to Home Affairs, people, they stand there since 5 o'clock in the morning. And then those ladies and gentlemen, they walk in there and say, oh, well, we are serving 10 people today. That time, there are 50 people in the line, people coming from the townships, people coming from different parts of a city to go and be attended. And then they tell people that. So what is going on? Because even the departments that the state controls, they are deplorable. Nothing is working. Nothing works. It seems that the people or the employees that are being put there, they are not, serving the people at all. Is this a matter of incapacity? Oh, okay.
Guys, please mute. Vukalova, please mute the microphone.
Oh, it's a Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday. Lebana, they are not sleeping.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
It's party time. Sorry, Kama, you can proceed.
Yes, so you always question yourself that, is this state culture that the public must beg for services from the state? I mean, I think when you go for an interview there, when you in a government job, they always say that there's the Batupele principle, which means people first. But it seems like that means nothing. Home Affairs, social development, you go to municipal offices, it is the same, it's consistent, they don't disappoint. You will find the same thing everywhere. Number 2, the fact that the state undermines the knowledge creating institutions or the knowledge created by individuals in this country. Scientific knowledge, whatever knowledge, it seems that to them it's like, oh, well, South Africa doesn't have any knowledge makers, so let's just go somewhere else and go look for that knowledge. What do we call that? Universities are full of South Africans who graduate and have the necessary skills to be able to be civil servants that are skilled. We've got postgraduate students. We have PhD graduates who are specialties in their fields in chemistry and engineering. But the state undermines those people, and then they opt for this nonsense of deployment, cater deployment. So honestly, South Africa is playing, like this government is playing a critical role in the stagnation or the lack of progress that we are making. Excludes the youth, then that country is not going anywhere, very slowly. And I think that is something that parties like the EFF have hammered on quite well so far. But I want to also touch on what I said about the IMF and the World Bank. I think some colleagues here might not know how the lending works. Those institutions are imperialist institutions. Let's not sugarcoat it. They give you money, you must give them something. That is it. And in some instances, they will give countries loans with impossible interest rates to such an extent that they know that that country will never be able to pay that money back. It's a form of a modern slavery. They'll give you 500 billion with maybe a 40% interest rate for 90 years. You will never be able to pay it back. Instead, they plunder your resources, they push all these policies because once you take their money, you are at their mercy. They are free to impose their own policies. Another thing is this tendering system, Bradin. I am so sorry, but it's not working. We see it play out with Eskom as well. It's so consistent. Even with housing, it doesn't work. With roads, it doesn't work. Because the tendering system is impacting Eskom in this way. When there's maintenance for these power stations, it's not maintenance that is done by Eskom. They will put out a tender to say, we want a maintenance contractor. Tendering is not about delivering any service. It's about milking the state. That is what it's all about. Everybody must eat. And sometimes when the companies that are actually doing the work, like reputable companies that maintain these power stations, when they get those tenders, they are being bullied by other parties to say they must subcontract because they also want to eat. Then you will find that in this contract, there is like 6-7 people who are doing different parts of this maintenance. That's why this whole thing is collapsing because or nothing is getting done. Andre de Ruyter the other day said there is 1 billion or whatever money that was paid to a contractor who never delivered a service. The transaction had already gone through and nobody is being held accountable for that. So what kind of a state is this that holds nobody accountable for anything? And the fact that somebody mentioned, I think the letter speaker said that the law enforcement is not doing enough. But I say this, Hawks, Scopus, SIU, all those law enforcement agencies, guys, they are overwhelmed. Let us just admit that. The entrenched nature of this thing, the big beast of corruption and mismanagement, maladministration, nothing is working. It's in every state department, every state-owned entity. It is everywhere. So how can the SIU and all these law enforcement agencies be able to tackle something so big when they are also under-resourced? Who is controlling the budget? It's the very same state, because it's them that decide how much money these law enforcement agencies are getting. So they deliberately under-resource them so that they can continue this thing that they are doing. Thank you, Bradin.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Kama.
Thank you, Kama. It's true, Bradin. Everything is collapsing. Everything is collapsing. The only thing that people go through work daily is to go and loot. These people now, they're not even, Bradin, they're not even hiding. They're taking the money. These people are just looting. If you go to even municipalities, you get, the resources that needs to be repaired. They're not even, looking at those things. They only loot. There's no budget because people are looting. It's a mess. We are really collapsing.
Yeah, it's bad. Right, we're sitting on 122K likes, guys. We're gonna be stopping the live at 9 o'clock. So hopefully we can stop with at least 150K likes. Let me quickly acknowledge the gifters before we move on to the next speaker. Elvis still sitting at number 1, David number 2, Fida is sitting at number 3. Let me follow you back, Fida. Let's see. Fida, you've got a private account, so people won't be able to follow you. Virginia of Cape Properties, thank you, number 4. Zaneles Kosana, the girl next door. Let me follow you as well, the girl next door. Aaron, Zuki, Jocolin. Let me follow you, Jocolin. Zuki, just followed you as well. Nontlantla Maseko, just followed you as well. Cairo Litsatsi, just followed you. Pumpkin Reds, Thank you guys for all those gifts. I just followed all those gifters, guys, as well, those that I was not following. So please also go to that viewer's eye and follow all those top gifters, guys. They are motivating us to stay here for as long as you want. And they will also support you when you go live. So please, if you have not followed all those top gifters, thank you, Pumpkin, thank you, Cairo. Please go follow them and come and comment done. Christopher, you can come in.
Thanks, Praten, man. I don't want to, Nansika, pronounce the lady's name wrong. Ne? Is it Kuma or Kama? Kuma.
Kama. I don't think she will blame you. We also struggle. Sometimes I say Kama. Sometimes I say Tama. So I think she will understand a little bit. But you can try. You can try your best. It's Kama.
Kama. Okay, I just want to respond to what she said now. She started off with the post office. My sister, here, you see, the way they are stamping there by the post office is when they hit that stamp on that counter, it's like they are putting a tombstone on your papers and they are reminding you of the deep apartheid. It's the only place that they didn't change at all is that post office. Now, we all have a problem with service delivery in our country. Né? We all need that. So what I've noticed, Praten, the reason why the civil servants are doing the work the way they are doing it is because they are motivated, right?
Sorry, Christopher.
Okay.
I think someone is snoring.
I think
can you mute, guys? Yeah, someone is snoring.
No, I don't want to go with you.
No, it's Sam.
Okay, let me remove them.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, go.
Thank you. So the motivation behind the laziness of the civil servants today, Praten, is the mere fact that irrespective if I do not do my job, whether it comes the 15th month end or I will get my salary, irrespective. You know? You see, and I was saying one time that we need to change the contracts of the civil servants, but it's not something that can be done easy because remember, those government workers or municipal workers, those are the constant taxpayers that contribute to SARS monthly. You see, the government is 100% sure that they're going to get the tax from there. For private sector with business and so forth, sometimes they must still fight to get the money from there. They only get it right straight from the government people. Now, here's the thing. I was also saying, you will go to a department, you will see umama yalala, you pasa benzini, and sometimes it's not for enjoy. Maybe there's health problems that goes with it. You understand? Then I have the privilege of, to sit in these meetings and so forth and make decisions. And I was suggesting one day to say, can't we make a package for these people? A package that they cannot refuse because honestly speaking, currently they are not beneficial to the department the way they were before. So we give them a package that they can't refuse and then we can get a younger generation to come and occupy those posts, and things will go better. That was what I was putting on. Coming to the municipality, I'm not going to mention my municipality. Otherwise, people is going to fall from the chair. You know what they do? You will put in a call, let's say, for whatsoever on Thursday. On Thursday, you know what? Pretend they're not going to come and attend to it. They will wait for it for Saturday and Sunday because they want to claim overtime for it. They would rather leave it there, hanging, and say, no, it's all other calls. But you would see the people laying on the ground and eating and doing what we're doing. So I believe the contracts need to be changed. Né? This one friend of mine who's also a big manager in the government department, he said, hey, the shop stewards came to him and they gave him a hard time and say, hey, you know what, you put too much pressure on the people and don't. And he listened to them. And he identified this one guy. And he said, hey, wena, yakumbula wena. I know you, I remember you. When you came to apply for a job here in the shortlisting, your tackies that you were wearing that day were not even roadworthy, those tackies. It were not roadworthy. If there was a fine to be issued for tackies like that, you have a big fine, or it was going to be suspended, the tackies. Now, Ngoku, you have now knowledge of Labor Relations Act, and in the interview you said you're going to work even beyond the hours. Look where you are today. You have new shoes, it's shining today. I wish you can go back to that tackies. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Christopher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brother, Kanye says tender system is a criminal activity. We all know about it. It has to stop. Yeah, I agree with him. The tender system.
I agree. It's just that it's most unfortunate, guys, that the tender system was abused very badly. But the tender system had good intentions. The idea was to shift the economic scale to black people, but the leaders and the very same people who have been empowered, they abused intentions. But unfortunately, people are abusing it, and they are making a good case for the system to be scrapped because it's not improving. Like, people are giving tenders, they are not delivering, they are eating the money, they are buying cars, living flashy lives and not delivering. So it's so sad that a system that was so good, a system that was intended to empower black people is being destroyed by the same black people. It's very sad.
They are even overcharging, Braden. They are overcharging the municipality. You know, it's Braden. It's sad, right? Yeah.
Even the issue of public servants, I mean, I've said this before, and this is where I differ with people. Public servants are failing the government. Sometimes we blame poor government, national government, even though they are also somehow involved in these corruptions. But people at service delivery levels, like people have been saying, traffic department, post office, home affairs, there's people who are failing the system there. There's people who've been entrusted with responsibilities. There's managers, there's directors, chief directors, deputy directors. Those people are supposed to be implementing and making sure that people are working. But everybody is just laissez-faire. So it is very sad.
Yeah.
What can we say?
Yeah, it is, Braden. You know, sometimes I would even ask in meetings to say, but we have directors and we have, you know, simple things like transport, you know, resources. That, you know, people, you know, toying for resources. And we've got directors, we've got managers, supervisors. What are those people doing in those offices? What are they even reporting? Why are they still even getting bonuses for poor performance? I mean, it doesn't make sense. People cannot, you know, you will find when you go to maybe, for instance, a public, you know, public safety, and you get people saying, no, we are stuck with petrol. Our cars don't have diesel. That's why we cannot even, you know, go out and get revenue for the municipality, or even go out and give people services because our cars are not roadworthy. There's no diesel. You know, nonsense. And you even ask yourself, all these people should be fired. All of them should go because they're not there to give services to the community.
Yes.
It's really wrong. There's lack of leadership. There's lack of accountability. You know, everyone does whatever they want.
Yes. You know, I remember I once attended when Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was leaving for the AU job. I attended a farewell function. I think she was the Minister of Home Affairs at that time. She said something very profound about public servants. She said, when somebody arrives at Home Affairs, that person does not have a birth certificate or any proper document, and they need assistance. The first person that member of the public comes across is probably a receptionist or a lower level officer. That person will most likely return that member of the public. And that should not be the case. If you are not sure of what needs to happen, she said there are managers, there are senior managers who should be called immediately. And those senior managers should be able to make a decision to say, is this a case that we can entertain? Can we help this member of the public or not? And I felt that was profound. People are being turned away at government departments for things that managers could address or for solutions that managers could find. But even those managers, they are not there, or there's just somebody, just an admin officer sitting there thinking he or she got powers to turn away people. It's sad, and now I think this is where the expose should begin. These are the people that should be exposed. Like somebody was saying, they should be removed from the system. Young people should be appointed in these positions. All those old people or people who think they are gods in those positions should be removed. Public service will improve, but again, there must be intent right from the top. If there's no intent right at the top, nothing is going to happen.
Braden.
We're going to fail.
Braden, I also think it's with a person. It's, if you want to do something, if you've got passion for something, you will do it, And I think even these youngsters, they're the ones who are doing all these things. Because you get to an institution, you get, a young man, with a vision. Immediately that person gets into that position, they change. Yes. They want to drive these nice cars, they chase this, living rich, whatever lifestyle. They start doing all those things. Whatever, I really think, and I always say that leaders are born, leaders are not made. People should know how to lead. And this thing of, taking people because they are your brothers or your friends. Like, for instance, now, we've got a minister of electricity who doesn't even have a clue about electricity. If it was an engineer of some sort, I think it could have been better. Now, they've taken someone who goes to the very same people who are sabotaging the system and ask them what to do. So we are still going backwards. Nothing will change, Braden.
Yeah.
Jumela. Hi. Hi. Okay. You guys, I miss you.
We missed you too.
Yeah, we missed you, eh? Where are the people? Wabana Friday no banyametse.
Yes.
And I don't like that daddy being. Guys, listen to Ramokopa. Ramokopa only BSc civil engineering class. Brenda. Hello, lady. Ramokopa only BSc civil engineering. Uncle Gay.
Lady TCM, I wanted to correct Brenda, but because she's my sidekick, I said, hey, let me not.
No, ke bone e be ke re no ke a bona gore ba re ke eng di bjana tša lona le di bea ka fase ga tafola, that's why ke tsene. Oh, he's a okay. Hi, man. Sorry for that, yes. Yeah, he's Leonard. You can call him my Leonard colleague. So he knows a lot about electricity. Yes, he knows a lot. Guys, let me tell you something when Brendan, eh? Olela topic e nngwe e leng is very, very important. Let me tell you, when you get to the government, you have your ideas, you have everything that needs to be implemented. But when you get there, they have their own systems. Two, they do not even relate that much to the practicality on the ground. And then two, the decision makers. Lena Mofaze, if you are a senior manager, you are just working. The implementers are at top and decisions are being made national. It doesn't matter what advice you give them.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. We can even see the directors or no, there's a new director to focus directly on the speciality Salena, but it's not working on the ground, Uncle D. Ne? It's not working at all. And then to the decisions that they are even making, it doesn't matter how you advise them. Ne? And then two, the other thing that I can tell you is that even the HODs, they have their own people in the same discipline who advises them. And they advise them wrongfully because it would not be practical on the ground, especially if you are working in the public sector. Yes, it will be practical elsewhere, but in that sector, it would not work. To the issue of the tendering, we have specialities, but they specialize in the work. But let me tell you, you go there with your civil engineering, with your PR, with your registration, everything. When you get there, you will just be a monitor. You are not working. You don't even bring anything. Even if it's just to solve the issue at globe, Uncle D. You change the types of globe. You won't even advise them in that. If you bring it forth, they wouldn't even take it. Two, again, it depends on who is talking. So if you are not in their crew, you don't boost libona, those ideas. So you would not even be heard. And then the other thing, everything is being ruled by the political. If today you wake up when Uncle D Owori go to fire goodness, I'm telling you, they're going to come in. You will even tell the more guys, a lawsuit. We don't want to go to arbitration. Guys, let's follow the standard. And guys, there's a contract in place. I'm telling you. But because of Bonakabobana, they are fighting and they also want to eat. And then if now you have a contractor X, which is Brenda. Yes, you can ask goodness. If you have a contractor who is Esther, if Esther is not contributing towards a certain percentage towards their party, the red and yellow, the green and yellow party, then Brenda is not going to stay long. Very soon, Brenda, but to terminate the contract high. And two, when you talk and you are a black person, well, there's BEE. Then they'll tell you, we are going to blacklist you. And remember, being blacklisted, that means that you would not work in the province of Gauteng. You better go to Rustenburg, not Rustenburg, you Durban, Limpopo, and other provinces. And then if you get there and you find our CEO, Brenda,
Now, CFO Brenda, no, remember each and every time they move them around. When a minister moves, when he comes and those people are part of the implementers. And then the issue of accountability. Accountability, it only works for the people who are on the ground. If you are sitting, unfortunately, you would sit in a position that level is the one that takes all the faults, regardless of the advices you give them. So Leah Naramokopa, if he's there, and then he has people who he would issue warnings to, and they would never even receive a warning. If you ever try or you want to stop this thing, the only thing you can do is to send an email, and you need to save your emails not even on their system. You save it elsewhere for the day when the cocks will be roasting. Your details, and on that time, unfortunately, they are going to take all the devices from you. And you will be facing disciplinary hearing in order for them to comply with the Metasja AG. Yeah. So yes, there are people who are corrupt, and then those who are corrupt, it's like when you ask Nna, and then you find Nnale Brenda or goodness. I'm telling you, you cannot touch any of us. The person who would be taken, it would be Denny, because he doesn't belong to the crew. Yes. So one, the issue of the tendering system, we are many, Uncle D. We are many. I'm telling you, the buildings, the government, they are dilapidating. We have people by long their specialities in those fields. They are not even catering them. Yeah. And then we have even these specialities within. So imagine if now, let's check in. Okay, Denny only a PR or a engineer, and then Denny will have his team underneath him, but about 20 or 30. I'm telling you, that team can do the work. The issues of the tendering, the RDPJ, the tender and the rules, they are not even needed. But let me tell you, they are needed because they even appoint a person who is an engineer on top of you. What you need to do, Anna, is to do a PI insurance, so that if anything happens or they want to roost whatever they want to do, you are protected by that. But you would not even sign off anything with your PR. You would only be charged whenever they want to charge you. And then it's like you appoint Denny with his PhD. No, not PhD. Most of them, they just take one person. Wagrelo is one person. Ki only PR. Where does it is? And you are there with your PR and being appointed and being paid for it. Ne? So that means that they are not using Batobale in full capacity. Two, they do not even support. Past 4. Yeah. So the political is ruling all over. Let's not even be shy about it. Even the minister, the HOD, or whatever, all the departments, they are being ruled by the MEC. Yamo. If today the premier wakes up and tell the MEC that go to the ground, tell those people to leave, they leave. If the MEC now comes and say, go to pay Brenda now or la mokolota, but Shiana Brenda, you will see what they say run in 1 day. But when you ask, they say you are getting paid in 30 days and end.
Yeah.
But because of Mang, you will be paid in 1 day. So now we will be sitting here blaming the people who are there, and they're basically monitoring. The implementers are the people who are private, and then coming private, they're coming account, yeah, the political.
Yes.
The reason why our people, you see that we have so many people by Longor, they were in the tendering system, but they are not rich. After 5 years, it's because of they need to always take out of their coffers. If now there is a rally, our political, they need to, that those people, it needs to be there. There need to be a tender that comes out. Remember, national and the tender until 2025. They're still awarding them. So come the time of the municipal elections, they need to have money in order for them to rally. They can even freeze a project. Or when the time ya go appoint Deni. Or Deni ibe yana katan the ribbon. So that means that if now Brenda is in supply chain, but to the process of selection, everything, the day a day atang, that is the day long or and they can even stop it, but when Aswaradi finances each and everything. Baraking, none of the government official deserves bonuses. Managers have failed bonuses. No, in the government you don't get bonus. When you structure your salary in order for you to have your 13th check. So correct that one. There is nothing called a bonus in the government. You get 12 rands for the 12 rands for the whole year, and then you take home 11 rands home. And that 1 rand times 12 is your bonus. There's nothing called a bonus there. So, but bonus, I say bonus again. It's not bonus, it's your money that you save. You can even not even have it and put it in accordance to your salary as normal. Yeah, so it's not a bonus. So if now you are having Deni now, no, we know that we are going to the next election. We're going to freeze everything. When they freeze everything, immediately when Deni is about to go on the campaign, they say release. The 13th, there's nothing called the 13th check. I don't know baby a 13th check. We don't even have that. But again, or a performance bonus. No, it's there. It's there when you perform, but it's controlled by national. So if you perform, you will get it, but it's controlled by national. It can even not be there, whatever decision that they take. So if now, Deni, we know her now, let me leave the comments. We know her next week, you are going to be doing this thing, opening a road or an auto campaign. We freeze everything until on the day the budget speech or whatever. That is the day where we're going to release things, and then you are going to run into the project, take pictures all over, and then clinic then you will appear in the pictures, and people on the ground, they are saying, yes, Deni is working within a week while he's here. Yeah. So, yes, goodness.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but that their strategy, I feel like it's still not working, because we can see that they are not performing. How can you now, people are buying this thing that you are building the school now? It's just, and also the other question I was going to ask you, civil servant, are they appointed by the ruling party, or is just a job that has to be marketed and it's got nothing to do with the ruling party? Because it seems like the ruling party, they've got hands in everything that they shouldn't be.
It depends. Civil servants are appointed according to their qualification when they meet those standards.
Yeah,
There
but
are instances where a civil servant is appointed because a certain minister trusts him and he comes with them. Like if now, today we are going to have Minister of SARS,
yeah.
which is Danny. Danny is going to come with his CFO, CEO, and then CFO, and then the chief director, those levels, and also his own PA. Then
You know,
this means that if on top Danny have reinforced that point, so it means that on the ground you are listening to whatever music they are playing.
Yeah, that is where the problem is. Because if Danny comes with his whole setup of team on top, nobody is going to challenge Danny. But there's no transparency there. So for me, I feel like if Danny is being appointed, because anybody can do whatever job that the CEO they are doing. When they are saying trust, I don't think it's trust. It's just like we are all in the same team. We are going to be corrupt. Because if there are principles and policies and procedure, anybody, they could advertise that position to anyone. Anyone can be working in that team, whether I'm the member of that party or I'm not. Is the job that I'm going to deliver. So the minute they start, Danny goes with his crew. So wherever Danny is, there's going to, if Danny is corrupt, there's going to be corruption wherever he goes. So it's not clean when it's like that. I'm sorry to say, they need to stop that thing. That civil servant, they should be not be appointed by the ruling party. If Danny takes over, they'll look for people that they'll work with Danny. If he goes to another department, those people will stay here. Whoever comes in, they'll service that person because it creates corruption.
That's very true, goodness. Ne? But unfortunately, there is nothing we can do. And then to the issue of nepotism, I think I really think the part of the qualifications. But remember that even in the party, there are people who went to war or to the struggle. Please mute him. Yeah. So to the struggle in order for them to be fighting. And there are people who went to study in order for those ones when they come back. They will find them being qualified and they will still serve with their qualifications.
Fair enough. For those
so, but listen to this. This person who is qualified is here to manipulate even the systems and the standards of the discipline that he's in. So this means that I need Danny with his law experience to sit in that position so that whatever law that I bring, it's in my favor. So this means that Danny is not even measured by the discipline that he's under.
Now, there comes another question. If Danny, he cannot come to this department, let's say, there are certain things that they should be standard across any department, be it Department of Health or Education, that is based by the government, which means there are certain things that once we tick these boxes, you shouldn't do this. Whether you come with your lawyer, they have to follow these policies and procedure that the country has. So if it happens that you are changing or manipulating something, so you are breaking the rules because these things are put standard, but obviously is not there with the ruling party. So which means it's something that is lacking that they need to implement. And if the things are not standardized, everybody as a citizen, you know that this is what is happening. In that way, it makes everybody to be aware that, by the way, I notice that so and so is doing something. It empowers the citizens to whistle blow, to be able to write about these things in the media. That is
Yeah,
why,
that's
like,
thank goodness.
yeah,
But
here in the
now,
UK, that is why they managed to
Okay,
blow the whistle
Lady
for
TCM,
Boris
Lady
or for these
TCM
other
and
people.
goodness,
Goodness.
Lady TCM and goodness. Let's summarize.
Okay.
Our
Yeah, let's
now
just
it's time to
summarize.
summarize.
Just wanted to ask
Yeah,
those
Where
questions.
are the people?
because-
Oh, they're here on top.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uncle B, let me go down quickly. They need to come in. I wanted them to come and talk. There is a process that says to override.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, our political is the one that overrides here in South Africa.
Mm.
So if MEC Denny is advising that he needs this person here, he would get him there without qualification. Yes, we are thankful to some of the disciplines where now there is what's the structural bodies that is regulating there. It is really a system because somehow some of the discipline they are not able to manipulate. Like your nurses, your doctors, you can't, your civil engineers, and you can't. The body is not controlled by them. However, when they want a person to come in, they're able to motivate that I need the person because of this and their political thing, then it overrides everything. So in summary, Uncle D, the only thing that would work for us is when the political gets their their hands out of the honey. As long as we have ministers of each and every department who oversees each and every department, and he's the one who approves everything, already mutu o tsene ka gare ga the honey. So we cannot do anything. The only time when it will work, it will be as like the private sector that if you are the head of here, you will be the one deciding that's it. And you would not even be advised by anyone external. And if everybody could take accountability, where you find that, like for an example, now the people who would be arrested, Kohoma Gudumani, it will be the ones at the bottom, but where is the manager? Who is the person who signs off this? So I would say that as long as there's no accountability from the head or the MEC to the person who is cleaning on the ground, unfortunately, we are a dilapidating country. Thanks a lot, Danny.
Thank you. Kama, you can unmute your microphone.
Hi, Bradeni, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. You know, this is such a rich discussion because at least we are having such a an intellectual discourse. I'm enjoying it, and what's sad about it is that I can see in the comments and in people's contributions here that people are honestly frustrated, Bradeni. Like, to such an extent that people are possibly wondering, what can we do here? You know, because it's like we are trapped, we are suffocating. You know, I read something. There's a literary scholar by the name. He's a Nigerian. His name is Ben Okri. Professor Ben Okri. He is based in the United Kingdom. And he was writing an article about the violence that is happening in the United States against Black people, the police shootings and the murder and the carnage of Black people there. And it just made me think of what is happening in this country. It is literally carnage. And in these comments, what I pick up is that the people are saying they can't breathe. That's what George Floyd, the person that got shot in America by a police officer, I think a few years ago, was saying before he died. When he was being held by a police officer, he said, I can't breathe. And I think that's what is happening to South Africans, is that the state and its cohorts are having such a stranglehold on the people to such an extent that we cannot breathe, literally. But let me just, say just a few points. Number one, right? The state is breeding corruption, colleagues. Let's just admit that. It is in an environment whereby it's creating situations whereby corruption is easily possible. For instance, previously when I commented here, I made an example about post office and home affairs. And to be honest with you, bribery is the only thing that works in those departments. You'll find that there's 100 people in the line. You cannot spend the whole day. You have to go to work. You can't stand that in that queue for the whole day, or even a series of days. You can't be there every day. But you'll find that those people who are working in those offices, they are waiting for you. They are waiting for you to come give them money so that they can do their job. So they don't want you to get a service in a straightforward and in a correct manner. But they want you to go to the backside and then give them money first, and then they can help you. So in the fact that there is no consequence management whatsoever is the problem here. And with consequence management, I want to touch on the role of trade unions. Government employees are highly unionized. Let's start there. Now, the relationship of unions, COSATU and tripartite alliances and all of that, and their relationship with the state is constraining the ability of the state to act against employees that are not doing what is right for South Africans. Let's start there. COSATU and whatever, and those other unions, those big unions that the government employees are part of, are the reason why the state cannot act. It's like they are constraining the state from acting, from actually doing something about poor service delivery in the country. So if we can dismantle that thing, if we can try to transform that relationship or have some form of intervention that is going to facilitate a relationship where the state also gets to benefit from that alliance, not just only by votes, but by the fact that the trade unions actually tell their members that if you step out of line and you work for the government, I'm sorry, we can't help you. But that's not what is happening. The state is now being threatened by trade unions that it's almost impossible, Pradeni, to dismiss a government employee. That's why the state doesn't even try it. They don't even attempt to dismiss a person because they know the politics that are involved in even trying to do that. The trade unions will stop it. I once talking about the fact that there are young people that are coming from knowledge-making institutions that have the expertise to go into the state and occupy the state and serve South Africans. I had a friend of mine, very close friend of mine. He graduated with his PhD and he went to go work for a municipality. He didn't even last a year there, because what started happening is that they broke into his car. They started doing all sorts of things, threatening him and his family. That's when he decided that, you know what, this is not worth it. Let me just go back to producing knowledge. Because the minute there's a person that is there to try and drive a change, they quickly do those tactics. It's operating like a criminal organization. This is not how a state should be working. It's a criminal enterprise where people are threatened with their very existence if they try to change whatever it is that is wrong with that particular municipality. The constitution of this country, it's a liberal constitution. Unfortunately for us, we speak about human rights. People are saying we have a human right to electricity. Not everybody is getting electricity at this current point. People have a human right to life. Senzo Meyo was murdered almost 10 years ago. We still don't have justice for him today. What about his human rights? Katlego Bereng, what about his human rights? Can you see, Bradeni, we are having this pattern of a liberal human rights discourse that does not work for Black people in this country. We say we have the best constitution in the world. It's yes, maybe it might be on paper, but in implementation and what it really means to be a citizen in this country, it's something so totally different. Some South Africans might even think that they are stateless. They are not citizens because the way that they are living in this country doesn't display or establish any form of citizenship. Another thing is that the government departments and this relationship that they have with the unions and whatever, it is what is giving these government employees the ability to dehumanize South Africans that are expecting services from them. I have witnessed the worst dehumanization of people every time I interact with the state, be it the traffic department, home affairs, wherever. And it's so unfortunate that at some point everybody has to interact with the state, because for you to be a citizen and to be able to have access to things, you need a birth certificate, you need a driver's license, you need an ID, you need a passport. So you are forced to interact with the state. The dehumanization, the fact that a government employee can even swear at a person in front and berate a South African citizen. What kind of nonsense is that? Nothing is done about that. Nothing at all. A person is abused. And then the other employees, it seems like it's part of the culture. Even in a government department, they can tell you to fuck off, actually. There's nothing that you're going to do. And they can tell you that they are not going to serve you. So you do not, but also for us as a collective, as South Africans, we are so disempowered to such an extent that we tolerate it. If you go to McDonald's, for instance, and it's taking you 45 minutes to get your burger, you are going to call the customer service center, or you are going to start to make a scene there, and you're going to complain. And guess what? You are going to get your burger, right? And maybe you're going to make it trend on social media, and guess what? McDonald's is going to apologize profusely. But we are not getting that in government departments. People are acting so brazenly. Nothing happens to them. You can't complain. People can't complain. That's why I was saying when I started this thing that we cannot breathe, Bradeni. We are being strangled. As particularly the Black people of this country, we are suffering in the hands of a government that we thought was going to bring about an exemplary state compared to other African states that are actually in deplorable conditions at this stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Kama. I think you've said a mouthful. Mouthful. Thank you. Sihle, you're going to be our last speaker for the day.
Thank you. Evening, guys. How are you?
We're
Good and you?
I'm good. Am I forced to address in English, or should I also use vernac?
Preferably English, Sihle, because we've got viewers from all walks of life. Unless if you are not comfortable, but if you are comfortable with English, preferably English.
All right, okay. I'll try my best. You see, what I observed here in South Africa is that we as Black South Africans are the problem. Government is a problem because it's also black. And everything that is run by us it becomes a mockery. I will start. I don't know what's happening. Do you still hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Your background volume is too high.
My volume is too high.
Background, yeah. Your background, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So, government is way far to look. It's way far. You see, when you're looking at government, you're looking very far. Start here in schools, police stations, municipalities, hospitals. Look where we are. Where are we are managing. The way we manage schools, especially schools that are managed by us as blacks, are not okay. They are not okay. And police stations, they are not doing well. The police are not following the codes of conduct. In hospital, the nurses, the doctors, they're not following the code of conduct. In municipalities, it's the same issues. Municipality workers don't do their work. And then it goes all the way up to the government. Because even the issue that we are facing now of ESCOM, we can complain about the corruption in ESCOM and what blah, 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 blah. But if we can run a survey now and check how many black people are paying for electricity in their houses, how many squatter camps are eating electricity for free, how many townships are using electricity for free, how many farm places, villages are using electricity for free, and then you tell me, if you are running a shop and people come and take your goods on credit and not pay you, will you be able to order the stock? Will your supermarket survive? How are we expecting ESCOM to have money to go and buy coal so that it regenerates electricity if we don't buy electricity? How can we go and complain about government, yet we are the ones who's working in police stations, who are the ones who takes the police department cars and use them for drinking, not chasing the criminals? Look at the way we behave ourselves in roads, the way we are so ill-disciplined in the road. We're driving like, I don't know. It's worse when it comes to taxi people. We want to complain about the government on top, the president. Who is selling the licenses in the licensing departments? Because you can have your car licensed while you're sitting at the comfort of your home. The way we are so corrupt. They are selling licenses. They're selling everything. The issue is not government. Government is just is one of us. Right now, next to all of you who are here, in your neighborhood road, if there can be a truck that is broken there, I swear all of you will go out and loot the truck. And then you want to tell me that the South African government is corrupt. Who's corrupt? Is it government or you? And that government that we are busy complaining about, did he just reign and then he fall in that position, or it's we who voted him because we are so in love with the corrupt government, so that when the government is corrupt, he can't control us here because we are also corrupt. That is why everyone who stands up for the truth in South Africa dies. Everyone who stands up for the truth here in South Africa, he gets killed or he gets It gets demonized. They use all these social media platforms and call that person names, revive all his bones, skeletons from the past, so that that person be demonized and then will be removed. Even in the places where we work, it's the same thing. Once you start to say you want to command discipline to workers, oh, my brother, I swear you, they're going to target you, they're going to threaten you, they're going to do all these sort of things. So my view of things here in this South Africa is that we as black people are our own enemy. Because now, any one of you who are here can be given a tender to do a road, to do anything. He will take that tender and buy a big house, put his friend on that job and eat that money and declare that company insolvent and go apply again with a new company name to get that money. That particular thing that is supposed to be built will be done after 3 years when they finish milking that tender. We got so many things that are on standby that were supposed to be built. But all the companies who's getting tenders, they declare insolvent. The same company comes again. And Ramaphosa is not the one who's working in the municipality offices where you apply for tenders. It's us who's working in these offices. The towns are so dirty. The towns are so filthy in such a way that there are no municipality workers. Ramaphosa is not the one who's sweeping the roads. He employed the municipality managers, the mayors, the councils, the people who's supposed to come and pick up the rubbish in the local, but they don't. They are so fat. They even bribe to get the municipality job so that they can get the royalties of working under government. That's all they worried about, black South Africans. That's all we worry about, is milking the system, and then we play a blame game. We want to blame government, who are you blaming? This government didn't put itself there. We put it there. And next year, I swear, people are still going to vote for the same government because they are so corrupt. Once you tell them about somebody else who want to sort out this country, they say, no, we can't go back to oppression, or blah, 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 blah. They don't even look aside to see what do we stand to gain on the next person that we're supposed to vote for. The only thing they care about is this corrupt government, so that everyone remains corrupt. That is why we can't even control our household. We can't even discipline our kids because we are failing to be parents. We wanna blame government. Like Ramaphosa just came to my house and told me not to discipline my child. He never did that. We are the ones who's failing this country. We are our own problem. I think I've said a lot, but what I wanted to say is that as long as we got black people in positions, we got black people patrolling in the roads, we'll never get justice on the road because they're always there to collect bribes. As long as we got black people running position in municipalities, they always collect bribes. If you are a woman, you must put down your panties and then let them have sex with you, and then you get a job. It's the same thing that all over and over again. As long as we got black people in the positions, I think we should accept that as a black nation, we have failed. And I'm such in pain that we are so rotten as a black nation. Yet we are so rotten. Yet we the only I don't know how should I put this thing. The way we attend the church, the way black people got so many churches, It's very sad that we are so rotten in this manner, yet we are going into churches every day of our lives and we still remain rotten. Who's going to help and solve this issue of black people, yet even God is failing because not even a single person doesn't go to church here. They go to church even in the nightclubs. They play gospel songs for you and then all of you cries like you know these songs, the meanings of these songs. But yet you're still rotten. The crime that we're complaining about is done by us. We are the ones who's doing all these crimes here, stealing the cows in farm villages. We complain about the land. Yet the majority, I stay in KZN. The majority of people in KZN, they got farms. They got places in farms. Those who in Joburg, they will tell you that they're going home in a farm. But if you can take a sneak peek and view their lives in the farm, they got tons of lands, but they're not even planting a single tree of an orange. Yet people want the land. It's very sad. Thank you, my brother. I think I've said a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sike.
Thank you, sister. Yo, but then if Sike had an opportunity to give us all, punishment, I think we'll all be getting punishment. Serious. Yeah, no, it's a pafa. Yeah, no. Thank you so much, Sike.
Yeah, no, that's
I think we need to, each person needs to do the introspection, brother.
That's true.
Mm.
That is true. You see, the reason why I'm always reluctant to schedule lives for this kind of discussions, Brenda, is that I'm restricted to share my views like the ones Sike is sharing. The minute I say Ramaphosa did not come to your house to stop you from disciplining your child, people will be labeling me all sorts of things. How much did they pay you? You are a Ramaphosa puppet, you are a serial puppet. But that is the naked truth. What Sike is saying is the naked truth. People are failing the government. We are failing the system. The public servants, the technocrats, municipal managers, councillors, mayors, CFOs, CEOs, these people are failing the government. They are failing the system. And we are part of that failure as well. We are paying bribes. There was a point where I used to drive around with 100 rand at least in my pocket, in 20 rands or 50 rands. Just so that when they stop me, I pay 20 rand because my diskette had expired for over a year. It was natural. It was common for me. I tried to get my license, my driver's license, 3 times. On first 2 occasions, I didn't pay anybody. I thought I was a Christian. I was holy. I'm going to get this license without bribing anybody. I failed. And when I was promised a job, my then boss or CEO said, Danny, I want to give you this job and you need to get a license. I was not going to fail for the 3rd time without trying to pay. I paid for the 3rd time, still I was failed for some strange reasons. At least the 4th time, I paid and I managed to chit-chat with the guy and I got my license. So we are part of the problem. We are part of the failures. Sike is right. Ramaphosa does not come into our houses and say, you pay the bribes. He does not go to a municipality and say, give this one a tender. Yes, maybe at IPP levels, people can say he's involved with his brother-in-law. They are the ones who are sabotaging ESCOM. Yes, maybe we can have that conversations. But by and large, public servants, civil servants, technocrats, councillors, mayors, municipal managers, these are the people who are failing the system. These people are given responsibilities, they are given budgets, and they are failing. So it's a big problem. Unfortunately, we're not going to resolve it as soon as we wish. Somebody was saying people are still going to vote ANC next year. That's what I always say. Don't bank on DA or EFF winning elections next year. It's not going to happen. Ramaphosa visited Hammanskraal a day ago, either today or yesterday, I'm not sure. The people of Hammanskraal were so happy. There were crowds running behind him, as if there was no cholera there. And that tells you the mood, that people are still going to vote ANC, whether we like it or not. So I think we as citizens, we as civil society, we need to play our part as well. Where we see this rot, let's expose it. Where we see this criminality, unfortunately, again, there's a curveball there, like Lady TCM was saying, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Lady TCM. If you think you are smart in these departments, they'll deal with you decisively. They don't care about labor relations. They don't care about CCMA. If you think you are smart, they'll frustrate you. They'll get rid of you. But that's not reason enough for us to give up, to put our hands on our heads and say, oh, Mudimu, what can we do? No. There's a lot that we can do. It's up to us as individuals. Some people will say, let's change the ANC. Good enough. Some people will say, let's do this. Let's put DA or let's put EFF. But the same DA is the one that has been failing the people of Hammanskraal since 2014. And they are trying to shift the blame to the ANC. But they've been in charge for 8 years. So it's nigga. Some people can say, okay, Patriotic Alliance, Gayton McKenzie, Kenny Kunene. It's a mess. You're still going to have the same civil servants, the same people at those positions. So I don't see us getting anywhere anytime soon, but we will continue to have these conversations, guys. As and when you guys want us to talk about these things, we will schedule these lives. We will talk about them as long as they do not degenerate into political squabbles where people are going to fight along political lines. We're going to have these conversations for as long as you want. So I think this is where we should leave it for tonight, Brenda. I've seen people saying I must accept one more person, but I think
I think after PJ Braden, we don't have much to say. I think he has said a mouthful. I need to. We'll be ruining everything.
Let's call it a night, guys. We are back tomorrow. Just recapping on the Senzo Meyiwa trial, which is resuming on Monday. So tomorrow's live will be focusing on the Senzo Meyiwa trial. It resumes on Monday. So let's call it a day for now. We still have many more days to can discuss these issues. So let's see how it goes.
We can have the same topic.
Yeah.
It says same topic tomorrow. Yeah, I think we'll also include it.
Yeah, no, we can include it.
No, thank you, Brother Daniel. Good night to everyone.
Thanks, Brenda, and good night to you too.
Sharp.
All right, guys. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for all your participation. And thank you to all the gifters. Pumpkin, I see you. You are still active. Let me quickly acknowledge all those gifters who are still here. Virginia of Cape Properties. Thank you, Zanele. Thank you, Cairo. Letsatsi. Thank you, Lilita Mbeki. Thank you, Valencia Lamalambule. Thank you, Aaron Pumpkin Rats. Jocolyn, thanks a lot, guys, for all those gifts. Much appreciated. Let's meet again tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Manx. Good night, Tumeka. Good night, McCain. Good night, Sina. Good night, Dumi. Good night, Valencia, and thank you. Good night, Pinky. Night, Lady TCM. Good night, Ignatius. Good night, Talita. Good night, Intellectual. Good night, Ntosh. Scalosime, 7 p.m. It's our usual time tomorrow. Good night, Pumpkin Rats, and thank you. Good night, Nomtandazo. Good night, user 74. Good night, Fatuani. Good night, Pumi. All right, sharp, guys. I'm gonna stop this. Good night to everybody.
Jesus, anti-Messiah. You guys want to see it in Scripture? Last few verses, and I'll answer questions, put out a call for renewal. Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. Okay? Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. This is the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants the things which must